Really excited to be at my first Big 12 Media Day. And what's really great is just one true champion in a conference that's very powerful. I had a chance to sit out there and talk to some of the head coaches, whether it being Coach Snyder, Coach Stoops, guys that I have a lot of respect for. And just looking at this whole conference, just looking at the venue where you got to go into really tough home territories and try to go win football games. But just really very pleasing about just this whole conference and just what it's trying to accomplish. And you look at the University of Texas, I have 4 players there with me today, Espinosa, Cedric Reed, Malcolm Brown, and Quadre Diggs. And the thing about it, these guys have all worked extremely hard. And I've been very pleased with my football team and just how hard they've worked. And it will continue to work. And right now we're in phase 3. Beginning in a week or so, it's going to be phase 4, and it's going to be preseason camp. And now when you get into preseason camp, it's all about just building the football team and watching this football team come together. It's all about putting the T back into Texas. And when you talk about putting the T back into Texas, you talk about toughness, you talk about trust, you talk about togetherness, and you talk about just becoming a team. You can never become a team until you have some toughness to you. And then you look at guys, you can never trust one another until you trust yourself. And then it's all about just coming together and becoming a team that is exciting to watch. I know this. I follow an icon in Coach Brown, 16 seasons at the University of Texas, did an unbelievable job, won a national championship. The foundation has been laid. Now it's up to us to continue this foundation and continue to build on it. And that's what we're looking exciting to. You're looking at season, looking at the start of the season, the first 3 games there with North Texas, BYU, UCLA, 3 teams that won 8 games or more. It's going to be very challenging, but we're looking forward to it. But what's really great is I don't have to start that season tomorrow. I have some time, and I'm looking forward to that time. But really excited about being here, and we'll just open it up now for questions.
Okay, we'll take questions for Coach. If you put your hand up, we'll get the microphone to you. All the way in the back middle, we've got a question.
Good morning, Coach Strong. Ben Kercheval from Bleacher Report. Can you assess personally and then with your coaching staff how you all feel you have done in in-state recruiting? Because in your first press conference you said we've got to win the state of Texas. How you guys have done in terms of building relationships with high school coaches and with recruits. Thank you.
Well, on Friday nights, we had a camp, what we call Under the Lights, and what we did there with that camp is we invited the juniors and seniors within this state, and what we try to do there is just make sure that we get them on campus for one more time. And recruiting is a year-long process. The great thing about it, signing date's not till February, but you always want to build a relationship with high school coaches because that's where it all starts at. And we have outstanding coaches within this state, and we will continue to build those relationships. Our coaches, they're broken down, and each one of them have a part of the state, and they know this, just how critical it is. And how critical it is to just go recruit the top players and get them into our program.
We got a question in the outside left corner.
Hey, Charlie. Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. I'm sure you knew a lot about the job that you were hired for when you took it, but what have you learned about Texas and the job since you've gotten there? And maybe it's not as big as I would think. Maybe it is just coaching football at another school. But what have you learned about the job since you got there?
Well, Jenny, the main thing and what's really key is that you can't look at any job any different than anywhere else you've been. What's been great for me is I've had an opportunity to coach at really outstanding programs, whether it be University of Florida, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Ole Miss, and now being a head coach at University of Louisville and coming here at the University of Texas. But what's key is just make sure that you surround yourself with good people. And the mission is very simple. It will never change. We want to make sure we graduate our young men. We want to make sure that we go compete for championships, and we want to make sure that they become a better person than they were when they came into the program.
Question on the right side, all the way to the back.
John Hanson, coach with KUTX Radio. Besides the X's and O's, what are some of the other elements that are important to these student athletes in your program?
Well, it's all about academics, and our student athletes understand that they're in college to go get a degree. And it's our job as a coaching staff, and we have a great our academics are unbelievable there at the University of Texas. It's second to none. But what's really critical is they get a degree, and they're going to walk out there with a degree in their hand.
We've got a question all the way on the back platform on the rear.
Jessica with K10 TV back here. Over here. Hi.
Oh, I see.
Okay. This question's about Tyrone Swoops. Now, he's not a kid that you recruited, but what kind of did you know about him coming into this year? And also, what have you seen from him in the spring and from film last year? What do you expect for him for his future?
Well, you look at Tyrone, he had a chance this spring because Ash went down with an injury to get a lot of reps. And the thing about it is still all about just developing him and developing him as a person. And you look at him, he's very athletic, he can throw the football, but also he can run with the ball. So we have to be smart about it and how we use him. He's going to be able to go compete with not only with Ash, but then you get the freshman and with Gerard Hurd. So it's going to be great competition in that position, but he just understands he's just got to get better and better.
We got a question on the front right.
Hey, Coach. Anwar Richardson over at Orange Bloods. Coach, you enter a program with a lot of high expectations. How far away do you think you guys might be for competing for a national title?
Well, what I always talked about, Anwar, I've been a part of 2 national championships, and the place that I wanted at, we never talked about going and win a national championship because you know what happens. One day you wake up, you're the national champion. It's all about just our players just going and compete each and every day. And then, you know, there's expectations everywhere. You expect to have expectations at the University of Texas because you're looking at a premier program. But it's all about our players and just making sure that they go compete. We, as a coaching staff, making sure the preparation is there. But we just have to make sure that, you know, because when you get caught up in the expectations, I don't ever want to put pressure on our team or on our players at all. I just want them to go out and just go to work each and every day.
We got a question all the way in the corner left side.
Hi, Coach. Max Morgan, Fox 4 Sports in Dallas. You were talking about national championship. Now, a while back, you mentioned that you wouldn't win the national championship. Kind of irritated the fan base. What have you learned about the Texas fan base, and have you patched things up if they needed to be patched up?
Well, Max, I think at that time I made that statement, we're in just phase 2, and I break our program down into 5 phases. You know, the first phase is just we start in January where guys come in and they go to work right away. It's all about just building and reshaping their bodies. And then phase 2 is spring practice. Now we get to work on just fundamentals and technique and just watch guys go execute. You put the plan there and just watch them go execute the plan. And then phase 3 is where we get back into a summer condition. But we're just completed phase 2, and I said after looking at phase 2, we're not going to go compete for a championship after looking at phase 2 because we had a lot of work to do. If you think about it, we were not a healthy football team at that time, but we still have some work to do. I can't say just how far off we are, and that we will not know that till we go out and go compete this fall. But we still have work to do. Now we're not as bad as we used to be, but I tell you this right now, we still have a lot of work to do. Just making sure that we continue to move forward in that area, in all areas of the game, within not only just offense, defense, but also with our special teams.
We got a question all the way over here on the right-hand side, front row, Coach.
Jason Opquist, Stillwater News Press. How much of a benefit has it been having a guy like Joe Wickline in the program who's had experience in the Big 12 and obviously has had success?
Well, it's always good when you go hire your staff, and you're always looking to just get the right people within your program. And, you know, a lot of times guys know a lot of X's and O's, but it's also about just developing the player. And Joe and I we've coached together at 2 different places, but, you know, just with him being within this conference and knowing the conference, he's been a great asset. But we really hadn't had a chance to really just sit down and just talk about in the venues because we're just so concerned about getting our team ready to go play. But I tell you this, when we get into conference play, he will be a great someone to just go lean on.
We got a question on the left. We have our microphone back there. I'm sorry, all the way in the rear, right by the platform.
Chip Brown with HornsDigest.com. Charlie, what are the primary motivating factors that you use, and how much is fear one of them?
I don't think I fear anyone. Just look at me. I don't think they get afraid of me at all. But when you talk about motivations, you're always looking just different. Just how can we get something to lean your hat on, where you get the players, where they understand just how important it is. And, I know some of you heard so much about, he said that you can't hook them, or he took the hook them away from the team. But I want them to understand it's all about pride. That it's all about pride within the program, where when we throw up our hook 'em, it's going to mean something to us, and the players have to understand. That's what in the locker room right now. I have the hook 'em. It's right in the middle of the locker room, and I have it's roped off where they can't even walk on it. And the only time that it will be removed is on game day. So on game day, when we come in the locker room, when we stand on the hook 'em, we're going to go play, and we're going to play with pride, and we're going to play for one another. But it's just some of the different things you try to do just to get the team motivated and get them going.
Question on the front, right-hand side.
Art DeLugage with the Llano News. Number one, can you elaborate a little bit more about the areas you need to move forward in, what you're happy with on your team, what I guess the fans can expect? And secondly, what is the status of Joe Bergeron?
Well, Art, I can elaborate from the personnel side of it, and if you look at it, with our quarterback position, David Ash was cleared the other day, and when Ash is healthy, he played very well. What I did was I went back and I looked at all our games from the last season, where I studied the offensive side first, I studied the defensive side, and I looked at the special teams. Very pleased with the way Ash played when he was healthy. And then you look at our running back position, when you have Malcolm Brown, who's here right now. Jay Gray has been cleared, and he'll be ready when fall camp start. And then you get Joe Bergeron. He will be back in the mix. He has done everything we asked him to do, not only with academically, but just showing up and just doing those little things. Because you put things on, you take something away from a player sometimes, and when you take something away that they really enjoy doing, then you can see a lot of them change, and they'll change very quickly if it's important to them. And then our offensive line, we just got to do a better job in that area where we just had to protect the quarterback, and you cannot allow the quarterback and open up the seams for running backs to go run. Need a playmaker at wide receiver. Need someone that can catch up a 5-yard hitch and turn it into a big play where you go yards after a catch with yak yardage. On the defensive side, very pleased with our defensive front. When you look at Malcolm Brown, you look at Tank, you look at Cedric Reed, who's also here right now. Shiro Davis blew it. But you're looking at 3 guys that were starters last season for us on the defensive side. If you're ever going to be good in this game, you had to be good up front when you look at the offensive line and the defensive line. Because if you can't move people on offense, you can't stop people on defense, it's going to make some very long days for you. Our linebacker position, I like to see us get better. You have Steve Edmond, you have Santos, and the good thing about it, you have guys that have played at that position. So we can just get guys to just go play. And when I look at the middle linebacker position, I look at that guy as just being the leader of the defense. And that's what I want to see with Santos and Steve Edmond. And then I get Hicks is going to be back. He's healthy now. Get Hicks back. And then you get Jenkins on the outside. The secondary, you look at it. You look at Diggs, who's here right now. You look at the other side with Duke Thomas, with McHale, with Josh Turner. 4 players, 3 of them are starters, 1 that has played a lot. So you're always looking to improve, and what guys have to understand is that you can't ever get comfortable. You can never be pleased. It's about improvement, and we have to get that each and every day.
We got a question in the rear by the platform.
Coach Strong, right back here in the middle. Okay. Hi, Lauren Michler, Time Warner Cable News in Austin. We talked a little bit about your motivating factors, and we know erasing the soft label was something that you were adamant about when you got here. Now that you've seen the guys throughout the summer, what kind of development have you seen in their toughness? Are you happy with where they're at? And have you seen the change that you've wanted to see? As I'm guessing you probably have some developing you still want to see from them throughout the season.
Well, I can only go by what our strength coach have said, and I have an unbelievable strength coach and Coach Moore, and he's really worked our players extremely hard, and they've done a great job of doing everything that he's asked of them. When you talk about toughness, you have to not only talk about it, but you have to practice it, and that's what we felt like we did in spring practice. When you look at 3-on-3s, you look at 1-on-1s, you look at just goal line, and it's a toughness. A lot of times when people talk about toughness, it's not physically where you're always trying to just beat them down. It's a toughness to just go do the right thing. Go to class. just go do the little things. And it's having that type of toughness. And within our program, we know this, that we have to continue to get better. There's some areas that we have to improve on. And you look at just the overall, just how hard our guys have worked. And we can really see here in another week or so if this team is going to be one of those teams that is just going to respond. I just know this, just from their attitude right now, I think that we're going to find us a different football team just because of their attitude and just their work ethic and how hard they've worked.
We've got a question on the aisle, left side.
Coach, right here in the middle, Cedric Bailey, Levity News, Fort Worth. First of all, Coach Chambers, tight ends, can you talk about his impact? And he's been right here in the Metroplex. And, of course, the pressure of being able to be a history in the state of Texas representing African Americans. Can you talk a little bit as well?
Well, I say this, Cedric, there's tall shoulders that I stand on, and there's people that have paved the way for me, and I've been given this opportunity. It's a great opportunity, but it's because of a lot of hard work from other people also, and I'm just so fortunate to be in the position I'm in. And I don't ever look at it as a pressure, because I just know this, if you're prepared and you have right preparation, then you're going to overcome all type of pressure. Bruce Chambers is a great addition to our coaching staff. He's the only holdover that I have from our coaching staff. You're right, was right here, was a head coach and assistant here at Dallas. Carter does a great job of recruiting this city. But Bruce is an unbelievable coach. And not only he's an unbelievable coach, he's a good person.
This will be the final question for Coach. It's on the middle back platform.
Hey, Coach, John Moss, ABC in Tulsa. You talked earlier about getting to visit with Coach Schneider and Coach Stoops, two of the coaches you respect. Can you talk about your relationship with Coach Stoops and what it means to you to be in a conference with a couple of those coaches you respect?
Well, when I was at the University of Florida, so I was leaving and Coach Stoops was coming in, so we had a chance to just visit. At that time, we had a chance to meet one another. Then he ended up coming to Florida, and I ended up going off to Notre Dame. And then but you have a lot of respect, not only for those two coaches, but you just look at the job. You look at Gundy at Oklahoma State, what he's done. Coach Browse has done an unbelievable job at Baylor. You know, look at his quarterback net right now with Petty and what they have. And Coach Weiss is getting it going there at Kansas State. But it is some unbelievable coaches within this conference, and you have a lot of respect. And not only that, just you've seen the work and you've seen the product that they put on the field. It's all about the product you put on the field, and it's a product that has been amazing because you look at what Oklahoma did to Alabama in the bowl game, and so the work from all these coaches and what they've done is and the respect that they have for one another is just truly amazing. I'm so happy to be a part of it.